Wild and woolly Wichita died hard. In the spring of 1876, Marshal Wyatt Earp believed the town was civilized at last. If he could get by one more cattle drive, the cowhands would move on to Dodge City, which was the new Gomorrah of the plains. But Wyatt discounted too much the forces of cowhand hatred and vengeance. A lot of men whom Wyatt had buffaloed or thrown into jail were determined to have one last fling in Wichita, come rain or snow.
Here, I help you, mister. Push. Oh, good. Now, you try. How they feel, Mr. Earp? Too tired? They pinch?
No, that's just the... Well, it's the first time I've ever had on any walking shoes. I guess that's why they just don't fit right.
But you need walking shoes, Mr. Earp. When you're on horseback, the boots, sure. But the town is so quiet, you walk the streets like a big city cop.
Yeah, I know, Tommy. Well, it's the end of something. The end of all the bad old days. Imagine me pounding a beat.
You should be happy and proud, Mr. Earp. Wichita is now civilized. And you did it with fists and guns and brains.
Well, I just helped the folks out a bit. But mostly they did it themselves by insisting on a peaceful... Take care of my boots.
Don't lose your temper, Ori. Don't lose your temper.
I ain't bad, hon. I gotta start hitting them pretty soon.
No, Ori, please. Stop it. You don't know what you're doing. The guy loses his temper.
Break it up. Break it. Break it up. Break it up. Why don't you fight your own fight? Oh, Matthew.
Stop it, Ori. Put him down.
Throw him out the door.
Put him down, I said.
All right, hon. I only lost my temper for just a second, hon.
You want me to arrest him, Mr. Taylor?
No, he doesn't. Get out of here, all of you. That means you too, Mr. Earp.
Oh, Mildred don't mean that. You can stay. He's the law, and we make friends with the law. Is that what you told me, hon?
The law, yes, but not Mr. Earp. I'm sorry, but his cousins don't like you.
Oh, that's a secret.
It's all right. I know who your cousins are.
You do?
Mm-hmm. Man and Clements, Joe and Jip Clements, John Wesley Hardin, among others.
Doggone it, hon.
And you ran Manning Clements and Wes Hardin out of Wichita. Oh, the fat's in the fire, Ori. I guess we have to leave town.
Excuse me, that dinner roast of mine will burn. Excuse me.
Why do you think you're going to have to leave town, Mrs. Taylor? You started an honest business. You got a right nice place here.
Thanks.
Look, I'm not going to tell anybody about your family connections if that's what's worrying you.
The word will get out somehow.
What if it does?
Ori's the Clements. I got him away from them, but once folks know who we are, there'll be trouble. Once the Clements, always the Clements, I reckon. How'd you find out?
Your father wrote me.
Oh.
You want me to run Ori out of town?
That sounds like Papa. Well, why didn't you order us to leave?
Well, what he wants doesn't make any difference to me. Besides, folks can't always choose their relatives on either side. Now, you and Ori are welcome to stay here in Wichita as long as you obey the city ordinances.
That's mighty decent of you. How come the Clements talk so mean?
Oh, I don't talk mean, honey. I like Mr. Earp real good. You know, that roast of mine ain't even singed.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Maybe I'll stop back for supper.
Say, you be our guest. What I mean is, Mildred and me won't charge you nothing.
No, there was a fight at lunch, and there'll be another row at dinner. Some cowhand won't like the way Ori cooks, or he'll get fresh with me, and Ori will lose his temper, and then...
No, I won't, hon. I promised her if she'd marry me, well, there wouldn't be any more killings. I don't even keep a gun.
Well, you stick to that, Mr. Taylor. We're all trying to have a law-abiding town here in Wichita.
Yeah, that's what we heard.
I give you my promise you'll get police protection.
You're going to surround this place with deputies?
No, just myself. I'll stay out there in the kitchen where I won't be too obvious. I'll see you all later.
Oh, honey, Mr. Earp means it. Just think, I'll never have to lose my temper again. You call this good chow? It's hog slop.
Put that down.
Now, who threw that? I said, who threw it? Well, I got my supper. You get a mop and clean that up. Use her, I'll use your head for a mop.
Now, Ori?
Oh, it's all right, hon. No temper. Ori! Yes, sir.
I'll have roast beef, medium rare.
Yes, mister.
Now, let's all sit down and have a nice, quiet dinner.
Shall we?
Can I have a dustpan, please?
Who's he?
Oh, he's one of a bunch of drunken cowhands creating a disturbance outside that new cafe. It was pretty early in the morning. They were all standing out in front shouting at Ori Taylor to come on out and feed them breakfast. I just locked the rest of them up.
Any of them packing guns?
Yeah, this one was. That's why I kept him out here. I thought maybe you might want to talk to him.
No. They spoke him on peace disturbance, threatening with a deadly weapon. Drunk on the streets.
All right. Come on. Inside. Come on. Come on.
I don't know why you're taking up for these Clements.
Ori and Mildred aren't Clements.
They're trouble, Wyatt.
Oh. Why should they be? She broke with her own father to marry him, and Ori wants to run an honest business. What's wrong with that?
Romantically, nothing. But practically, it's stirring up a hornet's nest. Why not let me print the fact that the Taylors are related to Men Clements?
I'd just as soon you wouldn't, that's all.
It'd stop the trouble in their cafe right quick if the cowhand show-offs knew who they were fooling with. What are you trying to prove, Wyatt?
I'm trying to prove it's a new Wichita.
What?
Oh, you know Taylor could keep order all by himself. He's strong enough to break the average man in half, and if he wanted a gun, he'd go get it. But that was the old Wichita, Mr. Murdoch.
Well, sure, Wyatt, but this is different. It's different.
Look, we all worked hard to build a police force, to convince the town that a man no longer has to protect his own life and property. The police force will do it for him. Now, if that doesn't hold for Ori Taylor, then we have nothing. We failed. If we admit that, then Wichita's going to slide right back where Dodge City is now.
Wyatt, there's more trouble down at the new cafe.
What's wrong now?
I don't know, but the woman sent word for you to get down there right away.
I'll see you later. Get a shotgun.
You let that man out, Ori. He'll smother in there.
No, Mr. Earp's going to settle this.
He can't settle it. The madder you make that man, the more apt he is to talk. Can't you see that, you big stupid?
Well, I don't care if he talks, honey. He threatened you.
He's just a town tough. He can't do... Ori put a man in the closet. He's got to let him out before he smothers.
Who started the row?
He called us Clementses. He's sore at my cousin man.
Now, let him out, Mr. Taylor.
But he said he'd gun me. And he said he'd gun Mildred, too.
Now, let him out.
Okay, if you say so.
Take it easy. You'll be all right, Jack.
You know him?
Jack Minto. I've had him in jail a couple of times.
Since when you pal up with Clemenses? You better stop that.
Ori!
You want a piece of this joint, Marshal? That's why you're giving him personal protection?
Right now, I'm protecting you.
From what? Ptomaine poison?
Now, look, you better get out of here and stay out.
I ain't scared of him. Or any of his murdering cousins. Take it easy. I swore I'd get Man and Clement. Any Clements will do. There, he threatened us again.
Now, just take it easy, Ori. Sit down.
Who is he?
He's a faro dealer, guard over at the Oriental.
Why is he so sore at Cousin Manning?
Well, when he gets drunk, he'll tell anybody that listens to him that Manning killed his brother.
Was that true?
I don't know.
But I never killed nobody. Why don't he go after Manning?
He's scared to, I think.
Oh, it's no use, Ori. We can't stay here. We'll have to sell out and move further west.
Guess so, hon, but it don't seem hardly fair. Why can't a man live in peace? I like to keep good control of my temper. I like to cook things real nice and watch folks sit down and enjoy themselves.
eat, all friendly like. Mister, why can't a man do that?
He can, Ori.
No, he
Now,
can't.
look, don't worry. I'll run Minto out of town. Now, you two go on and prepare lunch for your customers.
Hold it.
Stay here. Your time's up, Minto.
What?
I'm doing you a favor. You better get out of town if you want to stay healthy.
You can't scare me. How much is that big idiot paying you to protect him?
You tired of living? You go against Ori with a gun, he'll break it over your head.
Sure. He stops bullets with his
Now,
nose.
look, I don't want to see you in this town 6 hours from now. If I do, it's going to take all the splint stock Fabric can find to prop you up. Sorry I'm late, but my new walking shoes pinched me so bad, I had to put my old boots back on.
What do you make of this, Wyatt? Do you think Shanghai's having a little joke with us?
No. I figured the Cayennes would want to have one last fling.
Goodbye, Wichita. Hello, Dodge.
Yeah. But as Shanghai says, if nothing happens to make them sore, well, they'll behave all right.
Something always happens to rile the cowhands. Shouldn't you swear in some extra deputies?
Nope.
Oh, yes. Now I remember. This is the new Wichita.
That's right.
Wyatt, I've been your friend a long time.
Best friend I got in Wichita.
I'd like to speak honestly. As a friend, a newspaper man. There'll always be trouble here. Cowhands hate you, and they hate Wichita for keeping you in office. They just don't realize or won't that you're not a killing marshal.
Well, I get offers every day from Mayor Hoover and Dodge.
You're not leaving. Well, that wouldn't end the trouble. The cowhands would still hate Wichita.
I'll tell you, Mr. Murdoch, nothing stays the same. The cattle shipping business has moved on to Dodge as far as this...
Marshal Earp, thank heaven. Minto's hiding in an alley in back of our place with a gun.
Minto, I told him to get out of town.
Oh, hurry, or he might lose his temper, and then anything can happen.
I want to wring your neck. Gonna knock you out.
Stop it, Ori! Let go!
No!
Ori! Did that man...
No. I had to hit him. He wouldn't let go. Or he killed Minto.
He had a gun. It was self-defense.
But he hadn't drawn the gun.
Are you going to arrest Ori? I thought you were our friend.
Now, look, Mrs. Taylor,
Don't give me that law talk. I'm going straight to Cousin Mannon.
there's no need of that.
Yes, there is. You Wichita townies are all against the Clements. Oh, come on, hon. It'll be all right. Cousin Mannon will come and get you out.
That's for the judge to decide. Come on, Ori. Come on.
You looking for someone?
I'm Mannon's cousin Mildred. Where will I find him?
Right over there.
Over here. You alone?
Yes. I know you don't like me, but Ori's in bad trouble.
How bad?
He killed a man. Wyatt Earp put him in jail.
Well, I'll be. He'd only do that if he lost his temper.
Minto was after Ori with a gun. It was self-defense, Cousin Mannon.
Ori's a maverick. Turned on his family. Married you.
Well, he's still your cousin. You're not going to let those Wichita townies lynch him.
Are you sure that's what they aim to do?
Of course they do. Earp pretended to be our friend, and then he said that Minto hadn't drawn his gun, and he took Ori for murder. Will you aim to stand by while they lynch your own blood cousin?
Well, no, I don't reckon I could do that.
Well, what are you going to do?
Busting Ori out of that Wichita jail is not going to be any picnic. I'll have to get a lot of boys.
You will come and save him.
Well, not on your account. Now, you get along back to Wichita.
Yes, it doesn't matter.
Wyatt. You here all alone?
Yep.
Where are all your deputies?
Out at the edge of town waiting for Man and Clemens.
What about that lynch mob out there?
Don't worry about them. They won't start anything until they see what Judge Jewett does in court.
And what are you going to do?
Tell the truth?
What's that? Taylor murdered the man, didn't he?
Nope.
Why, for heaven's sakes, he's at Clemens. Doc Fabrique tells me it was the most brutal killing he'd ever worked on.
I know. Come on, let's go to court.
Listen, Wyatt, the whole town's up in arms about this. You can't afford to side in with the Clements, with the cowhand faction.
I know I can't, but I can afford to tell the truth. Come on.
Proceed with your testimony, Mr. Taylor.
Well, when I saw him waiting for me in the alley, I kind of lost my temper. Hello, Mildred. That's my wife who just come in. She always warned me not to do it.
Not to kill Jack Minto?
Oh, no, sir. Not to lose my temper.
Oh. Is that all you have to say?
I reckon it is.
You may step down.
Well, thank you, Judge.
Marshal Earp?
Yes.
You go ahead and lie about us and see how much good it'll do you.
Order. Quiet, young woman. Proceed, Marshal Earp.
Well, I haven't got too much time, Your Honor. There's a lynch party outside, and I think Man and Clemens is on his way here with a gang of cowhands.
Does that disturb you, Marshal?
No, sir.
Good. And I think we have time for you to tell the court the whole truth.
Well, sir, in the first place, I can verify everything that Ori Taylor testified to. Minto did threaten to kill Ori. I was there. So I ordered Minto to leave town.
Mildred says to hurry. White Earp's going to lie in court. The townies are all set to hang Ori after the judge sentences him. How much time we got? Not more than half an hour. Give me the spoon.
And I think the only question this court has to decide is whether Ori had to kill Minto.
And what is your own opinion, Marshal Earp?
Well, sir, physically speaking, Ori did have the jump on Minto and could have disarmed him. But mentally speaking, Ori was in fear of his life. I don't think the law can ask a fearful and angry man like Ori to exercise calm judgment in a situation like that. My opinion is that Ori be found guilty of manslaughter and because of extenuating circumstances be given a suspended sentence.
This court agrees with Marshal Earp and sentences the defendant to 1 year in jail. The sentence is hereby suspended.
Judge, does that mean I don't have to go to jail?
That's right. But I think Marshal Earp wants to keep you in protective custody for a short time.
Well, I think that would be better, sir. Would you take Mr. Taylor back to jail?
Mildred. Court's adjourned.
Hey, take him to the jail. Let's get over there. Hold it.
thought you men wanted a civilized town. Well, you got one, whether you want it or not. Now, maybe you're the last of the old Wichita wild and woolies. Maybe you'd rather die than act decent. All right. All of you in favor of dying, make your play.
Only a handful. I said the whole town would be after Taylor.
Wichita's changed, Mr. Murdoch. But I doubt if Manning Clements has changed very much.
Why not turn Taylor loose? That'd satisfy Clements.
Manning would just think I was doing that because I was afraid of him. I'm gonna go meet him.
You want to fight?
No, I want peace, Mr. Murdoch. Sometimes you can talk folks into being civilized. Other times you gotta use a gun.
Pick one up.
All right, man?
You all set?
Yeah. I got the shotguns loaded. Keep an eye out.
Wyatt, I may have done wrong, but I let Mrs. Taylor through.
How long ago was that?
15 minutes or so. She wouldn't say what her business was or where she was going.
She's probably going to tell Manning that we're keeping Ori in jail. He's not going to like that.
We did that for Ori's own good.
You try and argue that with Manning. I'm going to talk with this.
Wyatt, here they come.
All right, everybody keep down. Don't start anything until they do.
She says you told the truth.
I always try to do that.
She says you stood off a lynch party. You aimed to turn Cousin Ori loose from jail.
That's right.
The judge and you Wichita folks really gave one of us Clemenses a fair trial.
Yes, they did, Cousin Manning.
Well, I'm mighty thankful to you, Mr. Earp.
You're welcome.
Me and the boys, we left our weapons back yonder. You reckon it's all right for us to come into Wichita?
Yep.
I don't suppose you'd take a bite to eat with us over at the Texas Hotel.
Well, thank you, Manning. I'd like to do that. Mrs. Taylor, I'm sure that invitation includes you and Cousin Ori.
Well,
It's a family affair. You're kinfolk. Does seem like there's something more I could do.
There is. You can tell the cow camps that Wichita wants peace. They'd listen to you, Manning.
I'll do that, Mr. Earp.
All right, everybody grab a box. Move them out of the way.
Mighty nice of you, Mr. Earp.
All right, yes, sit down.
How was dinner?
Huh?
How was Manning?
Roast beef. Well, he said he'd pass the word. He's got 37 cousins, and they in turn will pass the word.
Well, Wyatt, I guess you can move on to Dodge City with a clear conscience.
She said he couldn't guarantee that they'd listen. If they didn't listen, he'd gun them.
Well, that's one way to have peace.
Yeah.
We aim to corner up in the alley and blow that tin star he wears clean through him. Yeah. Kill us so-and-so. You mean bushwhack him? Well, now, and you're gonna help us. Or do you want your saloon burnt to the ground and half the town with it?
No, I'll help you.
Wyatt Earp, the new marshal of Dodge City, was trying to civilize the toughest town on the western frontier. The hoodlums of Dodge knew that Earp had tamed Ellsworth and Wichita, but these were little cow towns compared to Dodge City, the cowhand capital. Marshal Earp had to start all over again, and in the face of opposition which had run several peace officers out of Dodge. This Gomorrah of the Plains offered Wyatt Earp a hard choice, fight or run. And if he was to fight it out, Wyatt needed the help of City Councilman Jim Kelly. Mr. Dog Kelly, they called him in the history books. Ex-soldier, gambler, saloon keeper. An odd mixture of good and evil.
This place won't open until I feel like it. Jim Kelly. Jim must be riled about something. Well, I want to get a drink.
It's like I was bewitched by this fella, Herb Deacon. He comes in here and fast talks me into helping him against the Big T outfit. I got no business helping him against good customers like the Big T Ranch boys. Who's next? What's the next donation?
The Reverend Halkett.
Give him 50. Why should I have helped Wyatt Earp? Who's Wyatt Earp? Nothing but a smart aleck young John Law. He'll be here today and dead tomorrow. Who's next?
Mrs. Jenkins and children.
I'll give him the same as we gave him last month. Like I was saying, Deacon, Earp had no call on me, none at all. But I round up some special deputies and 50 sticks of dynamite, and then what does Earp do? He blows up the cattle pens and turns all the wild steers loose. So the Big T cowhands have to quit shooting at Charlie Bassett and Bill Tillman in the depot. They got to ride half a day collecting steers. 2 Big T hands get killed and Earp creases their foreman's skull. I need my head cracked open for having anything to do with Wyatt Earp.
You didn't know how rough Earp plays it, boss. How much for Father Shevlin?
Father Shevlin, is it? The way that man keeps after me. Not a dime. Not 1 penny. More than 200.
All right. That finishes the list. Ain't you due at the city council meeting?
No. Earp wants me to vote to close this town up tight. The gall of him. Does he think the big cattle driving outfits are going to stand for that without killing him? And maybe me? By Joe, I'm in my right mind now. And if you ever see Jim Kelly give Wyatt Earp so much as the back of his hand, this whole saloon is yours, Deacon. Now, you got my oath on it. All right, Sparky, open up. Open her up wide and let them start drinking. Maybe they'll punch Marshal Earp in the nose. Now, let's get organized this time. We make our play in real Big T style. We scatter and take the back streets to Gruber's livery barn. We leave the horses there, and then we get ready to move on that Kelly.
It wasn't Kelly's fault.
What?
Earp forced him to it.
Ah, quit your jabbering. It was both their faults. 2 of our men are dead, and Gus Andrews will be laid up for weeks. And we don't take that off on nobody.
No, that's right.
We're fixing Kelly first, and then the Big T will get Wyatt Earp. Now move. Back there. Go on, go on.
They're not Big T men, they're just drunks.
Al, the doc will be over to patch him. Keep him locked up.
Yes, sir.
Gentlemen, I'm awful sorry to keep the town council waiting.
What happened to you?
Oh, nothing too serious. One of the Big T outfits stuck his thumb in my eye. But I don't think he'll do it again. He'll be all right in a couple of days, though. But what's more important is there are drunken cowhands in the street with guns. Mr. Mayor, that ought to convince you that we need these new ordinances that I'm asking for.
I'm convinced, Wyatt. I'm not, and neither's Mr. Billings. The town council is kind of hung up. 2 votes for your new ordinances and 2 against.
Well, gentlemen, I'll tell you, it's useless to even hire a marshal if these aren't approved. Now, what are the objections, Mr. Prentice?
Well, Billings and I think 2 of them are all right, but we sure don't like the others.
Which ones do you object to? Check your guns, don't ride horses on the sidewalks or in saloons or hotels, don't discharge firearms within the city limits, no drunkenness on the streets.
Well, we vote against number 2 and number 4.
Oh, in other words, you think it's all right to ride a horse into a saloon or hotel lobby or into a store, huh?
Well, it shouldn't be a misdemeanor, it's just harmless fun.
Harmless fun? We've had at least 20 innocent bystanders kicked or bitten by horses. And being drunk on the streets. That's just harmless fun, too?
I'm not a hypocrite. I've been tipsy on the street, and so have you, and so has Kelly.
Say, speaking of Kelly, where is Mr. Kelly? He's a 5th member of the council, isn't he?
Jim ran out on us.
What do you mean he ran out?
Well, he's sore because you got him involved in that fight last week. Says he won't vote either way.
But if he did vote, he'd vote against you, Marshal.
Afraid that's it.
Mr. Mayor, I'd appreciate it if you'd call another meeting for tonight. Have a little talk with Mr. Kelly.
That won't do any good. You know that. Now, Kelly is on our side. I know.
Ace is a loser. Not too bad. Three is a winner. Two whiskeys.
Mr. Kelly, I'd like a few words with you.
Oh, what happened to you?
Oh, I caught a little thumb in the eye.
Big T. I'm sorry to hear it, but that's the only word you'll get from me. We ain't friends.
Oh, wait a minute. This is business. Both mine and yours.
I helped you once, never again. Ain't I made it clear enough? I'm asking you to keep away from me.
You know, there must be two Jim Kellys.
Then this one's in his right mind.
I kind of like the first Jim Kelly. That's the one that helped me put a stop to that Big T outfit from tearing this town apart about a week ago.
Then you like mush-headed idiots. Now you're talking to the real Jim Kelly. I run a saloon and a gambling hall.
Well, that's legal business, Mr. Kelly.
And I sell liquor to the Big T outfit. I didn't mean to set him up for a killing.
Oh, no, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Bassett and Tillman shot in line of duty. It was self-defense.
Stop trying to argue with me. You got a slick poison tongue, Earp. You and your two Kellys. Well, I'm sick of looking at you, and I ain't gonna talk to you. And by George, if you don't get out of here...
Mr. Kelly.
Well, my duty's to defend myself. Settle the chips and close up. Gotta change this place into a fort like the Alamo. Sparky, get out the guns. Reb, put up the bars. Start piling tables in front of the doors and windows. All right, there's going to be trouble here. Anybody who's got a shooting beef against the Big T can stay and help themselves. The rest of you, clear out.
Oh, now, think about it, Mr. Kelly. You can't stand off that many men. Marshal, this don't make sense. You'll get us all shot and the place burned on top of us. Can't you do something?
I can try. Sure you got your facts straight?
Yes. You can leave for the back door.
You know, this is no place to make a fight, Mr. Kelly.
Whose fight is it?
It's more mine than it is yours. Now you'd make a pretty good-looking deputy.
I'm defending myself, not helping you.
You sure you couldn't use a little help?
Not from you. I'll leave for the back door, I said. Get moving.
I sure did like that old Jim Kelly. Yes, sir. You know, he used to be a real tough sergeant in the cavalry, you know.
Just keep walking.
I kind of depended on him, too. Like all old Army men, I kind of knew his duty. Figured he'd back me in the council and put an end to all this foolishness.
I'll take what's coming.
You want to fight it out with that gang of spoiled, rotten hoodlums all by yourself, huh?
The door is open.
All right. I'll ask you just one more question. I'll ask it of the Jim Kelly that you claim to be right now. Now, what's the sense in turning your back on the law and trying alone to shoot out a hoodlum grudge?
Because I am a hoodlum. Because this is a hoodlum town. And that's the way Dodge is going to stay. The likes of you won't change it.
Well, I'm going to sure try to change it. Well, good luck to you against the Big T outfit, Mr. Councilman.
Two Jim Kellys. That young smart aleck. Hey! Who put buckshot in my gun? I want slugs! Buffalo slugs!
Howdy, Mr. Mayor.
Haven't you heard the news? The Big T outfit is coming into town to shoot up Kelly's place.
Maybe.
But the stage driver saw him. 10 or 15 guns. About a half an hour out of town. Well, aren't you going to do something?
No, sir.
What?
Oh, I don't think they're going to hurt Kelly much.
Why do you say that? The Big T outfit has every reason to crack down on Kelly.
Well, I think they kind of like Kelly. At least the hoodlum part of him. Anyway, they're not after him. They're after Bassett, Tillman, and me.
But Bill Tillman and Charlie Bassett aren't in town.
Yeah, I know. That leaves me.
I guess I don't know you very well, yet. But if a crowd of range stuffs was coming after me, I'd be swearing in special deputies and getting ready to blast them from every building on Front Street.
Well, I can't do that.
Why not?
Well, because of public opinion, Mr. Mayor. It's my most important weapon. If I'm going to do any good here in Dodge, I can't go around shooting people from ambush.
But you think you can afford to let Kelly get hurt and have his saloon wrecked?
Well, I think there's some kind of a trick.
Trick?
Yes, sir. Studying cowhands kept me alive in Ellsworth and Wichita. I don't think that big T outfit's going to jump me in an open fight. Now, they've already lost their 3 best men. They haven't had time yet to hire any real fast guns.
But they'll jump Kelly.
Maybe. But I don't aim to let anything too bad happen.
You're going to try and save his life? Why?
Well, because he's got the deciding vote in the council. I want his vote for those ordinances.
That's a mighty cold-blooded way to look at it.
Well, I'm in a mighty cold-blooded business. Say, did it ever occur to you that there are 2 Jim Kellys? Sir, one would sell me out, a flash of Irish temper, and the other would weep and plant shamrocks in my grave. Pretty soon we're going to find out which Kelly comes out on top. It's going to be a pretty close fight.
I, Jim Kelly, hereby bequeath. Hey, Deacon, come here. How's this fella Earp spell his name?
Well, Wyatt would be W-I-A-T, and I guess Earp is U-R-P. Why, boss?
Never mind. Get back on guard. To Father Chevron, $5,000. Hoping he will pray once a week for Wyatt Earp.
Hey, Mr. Kelly. 2 big T cowmen, but they're on foot.
Comb and daggers. I wonder why they ain't riding with the rest of them.
Maybe they got fired.
Oh, they didn't. They're keeping an eye on me. And where's my good friend Wyatt Earp?
He offered to help.
Shut up! They'll get me and let him run out. I'll have no prayers for Wyatt Earp. Something's wrong. When the big T comes after you, they don't stall around. They come galloping down the street. They come shooting.
Maybe they're scared of Earp.
Ah, 1 marshal and 3 deputies. Might be scared if Tillman and Bassett was here. They're out in the country chasing stage robbers.
Drop your guns. Keep the rest of them covered. Take him in the back room.
What's the idea? You guys...
We're giving you your last chance.
You can't bust in on me, put guns on me, slap me around.
Keep your temper. We want Wyatt Earp.
Go over to the jail, then.
Oh, no. We're going to get him here, and you're going to help us.
You mean bushwhack Earp?
If that's what it has to be.
Oh, no. I hate his insides, but...
Listen. You want a couple of slugs in your stomach?
No.
You want this place on fire and half the town with it? All right. And the first thing you do is open for business just like nothing ever happened.
What is going to happen?
I'll tell you all about it, Kelly. Now get it open.
Wyatt. There are 8 T-brand horses at Gruber's livery stable.
Where'd the men go?
Gruber thinks they went to get something to drink.
false alarm, I reckon. Well, that could be a few of them over there. You and Pete wait a couple of minutes and then go tell him to get out of town.
Shall we pass the word to Mr. Kelly?
Let him sweat.
Hey, Dick! Dick! Let Sparky sit in for you. Come here. Take it, Sparky. I ain't going through with it.
Huh?
I don't hate Earp that much.
Oh, now, think about this. You can't double-cross the Big T.
Well, it's murder they plan. You want murder on your soul?
I ain't got a soul.
All men got souls. Now, don't you never say that again.
All right, all right.
I should let him do it, Earp. If he stays in Dodge, he'll be hounding me. He'll be worse than Father Shevlin.
Now you talk like the real Jim Kelly.
Now, don't you start that. Some things even a hoodlum won't do. You go tell Earp the whole rotten scheme.
That's final?
Right.
All right. But the Big T cowhands will know you tipped him.
Not if Earp plays it smart. And I know Earp. He'll play it real smart.
He'd better. He could get us both killed.
Oh, warn him about that. Well, there ain't much time. Find a way to get over to Earp's where they won't see you.
And Pete's going to pretend to be dead in the alley here. The rest of the Big T boys will be hiding in the back of Lukey's store at the windows here. They figure you'll come busting into the alley to examine Pete. When you do that, they'll give it to you.
I see.
Now, I think, Mr. Kelly thinks, that you should sneak into the back of the store and take them from behind. But you and your deputies got to get them all, Mr. Earp. Otherwise, they'll be after me and Kelly.
Well, thank you, Deacon. We'll try and handle it.
There won't be no slip-up.
Oh, I hope not.
Well, thanks.
So long, Deacon. And thank Mr. Kelly for me.
Marshal Earp, this man just been shot dead in the alley.
Good evening, Mr. Kelly. Thanks for the information.
What are you doing here?
I was on my way to the alley.
No, they're laying for you. Now, Deacon said you promised to take them from behind.
Kill him, huh?
They aim to kill you.
Maybe.
No, maybe. They'll do it. Now, get out of here, by the front door.
If I do that, Mr. Kelly, why, they'll suspect you of tipping me off.
I thought you'd act sensible. You scared of a little killing?
Yep.
No. I get it. Maybe you want me and Deacon killed.
Look, I don't want anybody killed. Now, will you just get out of my way?
With one eye? You daft. You go out there and you'll be a corpse in 10 seconds.
Which Mr. Kelly are you tonight?
No, don't start that. Get out of here. By the front door. Maybe I can convince him you lost your nerve or somebody else talked.
Look, Mr. Kelly, I can't take those men from behind. Sure, I can trust myself, but I can't ask my deputies not to shoot to kill.
All right, then run.
There's been too much running by peace officers in Dodge City already.
You can't fight. The odds are too heavy.
Just stand back.
They've run. Let's get them. Keep us covered.
All right. I'll get out there and tell them to quit.
Don't shoot it. It's me, Pete. We give up.
wish you'd let me shoot him.
You go on back in there. Go on.
Come on out of there.
You tell your boss not to bring any more cattle into Dodge. The big T outfit isn't welcome here. In the afternoon tomorrow, I'm going to shoot any on sight. You understand? All right, now pick up these two and take them to Doc McCarty's office.
Go on, move. And you know what? I'm a ruined man. Ruined. You told the big T they can't come into Dodge. Do you know what that means? They got a dry payoff of $30,000, and I used to get a third of it.
So you lose $10,000.
But that ain't the main thing. You cornered me. You shoved me over to your side. I'll be known as Trader Kelly, the man who turned against his customers to help the law.
That's right.
None of the big cattle outfits will come into my place. I might just as well close up and prepare to leave this world.
Well, now you're exaggerating a bit.
Well, the big T knows I double-crossed them and pulled a gun on their boys. You think they'll let me get away with that?
Why, sure.
They will not. I'll be gunned on the streets.
Well, I don't think so.
You got the sheer gall to deny that. Why?
I'll tell you, because you'll be known as a great personal friend of mine.
Friend, is it? Never.
They gun you, I'll gun them. Why, Texas won't be big enough to hold them.
I suppose you'd even follow them into Mexico.
Why, sure, if need be.
This is a trick. You're working on my Irish heart. Friend, you don't even like me.
Well, sure I like you. That Jim Kelly I saw tonight was a brave man.
I'll turn on you. I'll stab you in the back.
That might be. The old Jim Kelly might come back again.
Don't bet against it. Well, I had my say fair and square. But don't ask me to shake hands, because I won't. We can't never be friends, and that's the honest truth.
Well, if you say so, Mr. Kelly.
And one more thing, and you get it straight. Don't you dog me and hound me. I won't have any sanctimonious John Law trailing after me for help.
Of course not. Before you go, Mr. Kelly, how are you going to vote on those new ordinances? You know, you're the only holdout.
And I always will be. Give me a piece of chalk.
Right there in the tray.
I vote yes. James Kelly.
I vote yes. James Kelly. Gives me a majority of one vote. Well, thank you, Mr. Kelly. And good night to you.
Hello, Albright.
Well, Mr. Allison, have you thought it over?
Sure. I'll kill him for you.
Good. I want to keep Dodge a wide open town. If this Earp isn't taken care of, he'll ruin business. The man does me a favor this big.
Now you get out of here. I ain't killing Wyatt Earp for money. I got other reasons. My own reasons.
Clay Allison was probably the most dangerous of all the killers who challenged Wyatt's authority as Marshal of Dodge City in 1876. Modern doctors would diagnose Allison as an alcoholic psychopath, but to the men of the western frontier, his character was baffling. Only a rough and ready psychologist like Wyatt Earp stood any chance in personal conflict with Allison. And for Marshal Earp, there was the deadly risk of guessing wrong.
Clay Allison's on his way into town. He's coming to gun Marshal Earp.
You go warn Miss Dora. I'll find her. Wyatt. This is private, Hal. Got to excuse us.
Sure, Mr. Kelly. Well, you look all out of breath.
We may both be out of breath. Permanent.
When are you looking for that to happen?
Remember my telling you I suspected Pete Albright of setting a price on your head? Well, I was right. He's hired Clay Allison. Clay Allison.
You sure?
Yep.
Mr. Allison in town?
Not yet, but maybe 5 or 10 minutes. Now, don't try any smart aleck stuff with Allison. Just go down to Front Street and shoot him off his horse. Clay'll know I warned you. It's my skin I'm thinking of.
You see, you let a good impulse overpower you again.
Impulse nothing. Everybody's got the fool idea I'm a friend of yours. And they'll tell Clay Allison that. Well, what are you going to do?
Well, how well do you know Mr. Allison?
Too well. I got drunk with him a couple of times when I was in the Army. It's a miracle he didn't blow my head off.
Why didn't he?
I was on furlough and I didn't pack a gun. And Allison didn't reach a killing edge. When he drinks, he's got to get a real edge on before he kills. Well, now get started for Front Street, unless you're scared.
Sit down, Mr. Kelly.
But sit down? Well, man, you got no time to sit down.
Just sit down, Mr. Kelly, and tell me about Mr. Allison. Now, if he's going to come gunning for me, I better know a little bit about him. Maybe your life will depend on it.
Hey, mister.
Yeah?
You better step inside. There's word that Clay Allison's on his way here.
That's all.
Yeah.
Jim Kelly's place, huh?
Yeah, but he ain't here. He went to warn Marshal Earp about Allison.
I did. I reckon I'll step out of the sun while I wait.
Yeah, you do that, mister. The guns, mister. It's town law to check them on that rack yonder.
All right. Give me some whiskey.
All right, sir.
Oh, and I might add, I'm an old friend of Kelly's.
Oh, no friend of Kelly's, huh? Well, that makes a difference. Must have been before Kelly come to Dodge.
That's right. Jim was in the Army.
Oh, in the Army?
Yeah. Smells like pretty fair whiskey.
It's out of Mr. Kelly's own bottle, mister. I got standing orders. Any friend of his is a friend of... Did I miss hearing your name?
Jim knows me.
Oh. Now, come on, or are you just stalling?
One more question, Mr. Kelly. What does Mr. Allison worry about?
Well...
Our drinkers usually worry about something. Does he ever mention the men that he's killed, or talk about the fight, or try and defend the killing?
Allison? What silly talk. Why should he bother his head about it? No, the only thing I ever heard him worry about was these cartridges.
Cartridges?
He don't use factory loads. Does all his own loading, just to make sure he don't have a misfire. Well, that's enough jabber. You're scared of Allison.
Yes, I am.
In solemn truth? You're gonna hunch a hole? I don't understand you, Wyatt.
Look, I'm trying to understand the reasoning of this man, Allison. Well, he's afraid, so he drinks to kill his fear. The drink gives him courage to do the killing. So he winds up being hostile towards everybody. I think I'm beginning to see what makes him tick. I just hope I can handle him.
Wyatt, Clay Allison's in town.
Where?
Mr. Kelly's saloon.
I knew it. You'll think I'm your friend and shoot me down.
Marshal Earp, Clay Allison wants to see you at the Alhambra saloon.
You tell him I'll be down in a half hour or so. I haven't had my dinner yet.
Clay ain't gonna like being kept waiting.
In a half hour, tell him.
I thought you were gonna run. Wish there was something I could do to help you.
Oh, there is. You can encourage Mr. Allison to get drunk in a hurry.
You want him to reach a killing edge real quick?
Mm-hmm. You tell him I said that, will you?
Never doubt it. I'll tell him. And the sooner he gets rid of you, the better I'll feel. Well, howdy, Clay. Haven't seen you in ages.
Howdy, Jim.
Hey, you always did have decent manners.
Well, the man I like, sure. Hold that. I'll join you. Soapy.
Yes, sir.
This is right fine whiskey, Jim.
Is this my bottle?
Yes, sir.
Then you got the best. Well, Clay, here's to old times.
Old times. Yeah, you're real polite, Jim. Tell me, why don't you teach Wyatt Earp some manners?
How's that?
Well, I sent him word I wanted to see him, talk to him. He sent back a message that I'd have to wait until he ate dinner. That's kind of rude, I'd say.
Forget it and drink up.
No.
Where does Earp generally have dinner, Jim?
One place or another.
I'll find him.
Clay, what's your complaint against Earp?
No complaint, Jim. I just want to find out if he's as brave as his friends brag. I'll see you after a while.
Sure, Clay. Soapy?
Yes, sir.
How many did he have?
2.
Just 2? Would he go against Earp cold sober?
Time will tell.
Pardon me, mister. You're supposed to check those guns. That's Marshal Earp over there.
All right. So that's Wyatt Earp, huh? The great Wyatt Earp. I've been wanting to talk to him. Mr. Earp, my name's Allison, Clay Allison.
Oh, glad to know you, Mr. Allison. Did you get my message?
Yeah? I told Jim Kelly you didn't have decent manners. Then maybe I'm being rude, disturbing a man at his victuals, huh?
Well, you're not disturbing me. Sit down.
Thanks.
You, want to talk to me about something?
Yeah. There's been a lot of mean gossip about me.
Oh?
You may hear it. They say I take money for gunning a man.
Oh, I've heard stories like that.
Well, they ain't true. Any fights I ever been in, money had nothing to do with them.
I believe that.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Say, what make of these?
No make. I load my own.
You do? Well, that's a mighty fine job. You set the primer absolutely flush, huh? You know, I had to stop hand loading because I used to set a bumpy primer. The thing would hang up in the cylinder.
You must be clumsy with tools.
All thumbs. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of forgetful, too. Once I double-loaded a shell and almost broke my wrist when the gun went off.
Well, I never forget. My memory's perfect. I'd rather trust it than some factory loader.
Well, if a man's got a perfect memory and if he doesn't drink, why, it's smart to use hand loads.
What's drinking got to do with it?
Well, they say it's kind of rough on the brain. If it's kept up too long.
I've heard all that doctor talk. Injures a man's recollection, they say. But I never hand load when I drink. And I've never had a shell misfire on me.
No? Well, you're mighty lucky, Mr. Allison. Hope you never do.
Are you a betting man?
Well, I've been known to sometimes.
Got about 100 cartridges on me. I'll let you load my guns, picking shells out of the 100. And I'll bet you 20 to 1 they all fire. I'll make it 30 to 1. You game to bet?
Yeah, all right. Why don't you strap on your guns? We'll go out back to the livery stable.
Good.
Oh, now, don't you worry, Miss Jean. We'll be careful. Miss Jean's kind of afraid of guns.
Oh?
There you are, Mr. Allison. All fresh loads.
Thank you, Mr. Earp.
30 to 1 you don't have a misfire, huh?
That's right.
Why don't you just cut down on those tin cans over there?
There, you see? My guns never misfire. Pay me.
Well, that's real fine shooting, Mr. Allison. $1.
Thank you. Come on over to Jim Kelly's. I'll buy you a drink.
Well, I appreciate the offer, but I don't drink. I'll see you around, though.
Sure.
Well, where you been?
Waiting to talk to you, in private. I heard a couple of shots. I thought maybe you...
Not yet, Albright. In my own time.
I got the men I promised to back you.
Where?
They're lounging around over at my store. I also got the money.
Didn't you hear what I said the other day?
Don't get sore. I thought maybe you changed your mind.
No. I just finished denying to Earp that dirty gossip.
All right, all right.
It ain't all right. You started that talk about paying me.
No, Clay, no! No!
2 misfires. Forgot to reload my guns.
Get on your feet.
That's just a joke, huh, Clay?
Yeah, sure, just a joke. It's the first time I ever forgot to reload after firing my guns.
Earp did it. Him and his jabber about my memory. He talked me into forgetting. That's another reason to kill him. A John Law acting smart aleck with me.
Well, reload it and go get him.
No. I'll have me one drink first.
Kelly.
Hey.
Sure, Clay.
I got smallpox. Sit down, my dear old friend.
Well, hold it. You're almost out of liquor.
Never mind. Just sit down. I want you to know that I don't like your choice of new friends. And I mean Wyatt Earp.
He's no friend of mine.
You are a liar, Kelly. You warned him I was coming to town. You've been trying to make me drunk.
You are drunk, and don't call me a liar.
Keep your fist to yourself and sit down. It's better. Did you see that draw? Now look at his gun barrel. Not a quiver. Steady on your belly, Kelly. Not like that. Steady on your belly, Kelly. It ought to be a song.
You're not fuzzy drunk yet. You're just mean drunk.
That's right. My cartridges are all fired. I proved that to Earp. There, you see? The gun went off, didn't it? I got your man right where I wanted to get him. I feel fast but steady. You see any chance for Earp?
Not much. Nope.
Honest, Jim Kelly, you made the right answer. You know I like you, Kelly. That's why you ain't dead. But I don't like Earp. He thinks he's too brave.
Quiet, my friend. Where you been? You said I'd see you around.
Who fired that shot in there?
Oh, the barkeep started for a gun. I didn't hurt him much. I just
creased his hand. Ask Jim Kelly.
I will.
I'll be all right in a second, Wyatt. It's just liquor makes me dizzy. I took too much, I reckon. Oh, Wyatt. You know, I don't feel very good, Wyatt. I think I'll go into the alley.
Yeah, you do that, Mr. Allison.
Where's Allison?
Went around in the alley to drink himself some more courage.
Well, take this and cut him in two.
No. Mr. Allison's only got a couple of six-shooters.
Well, go after him. He winged Soapy and threatened to kill me. Well, what are you stalling for now?
I don't want to have to kill him, Mr. Kelly.
Well, why not?
Will you just take it easy?
Easy, he says. Clay Allison at the killing edge, and he takes it easy. Well, now, you can't hide in here. The whole town's watching you and Clay.
Yeah, and they're all just blind stupid like you are.
Oh, they are they?
Look, I had the drop on Mr. Allison out there. I could have buffaloed him over the head or shot him.
Then why didn't you?
Because he's crazy. Drunk crazy. I want to give him one more chance.
To kill you?
Maybe. But I'm hoping he'll just get so drunk he'll quit. Well, we may have to shoot it out. I'm not saying it won't end that way. But I thought at least you'd have enough sense to understand.
Man waiting to get killed's easy to figure. You're tired of living.
Oh, look, Mr. Kelly, listen to me, will you?
Huh? There's nothing wrong with my eyes.
Yeah, you can do the job. Here.
Hold it waist high.
It's pretty fast, huh? Plenty fast.
Yeah. Wyatt up trying to worry me about my cartridges. Any man stooped to a trick like that is just plain yellow.
He's hiding in Kelly's saloon.
I'll get him out of there. But how do I know his deputies won't gun me in the back?
Take a look at my store. There's a dozen men in there willing to back you up.
I'll tell you something, Albright. I don't need him. You go fetch my horse. I kill a marshal, I want to get out of town quick.
Hey, you Johnny Laws. You go tell Herb to quit hiding. Tell him to come out here and make his fight.
The worst thing a marshal can do is to kill a man, no? Sure, you may think he deserves it, but his relatives and friends don't. That's why Billy Brooks and John Allen had to leave Dodge City. They found themselves ringed with enemies.
Yeah.
And the low-downest thing a man can do is to make gunplay against drunks. If the drunk dies, why, well, they say you took advantage of him. If you die, they...
Quiet.
If you die, why, you're considered mighty poor to get killed by a drunk. Yeah.
Clay's yelling for you to come make your fight.
Now, where?
It's outside Albright's store. I think there's about a dozen cowhands inside. I believe they got the guns with them.
All right.
Well, shouldn't me and the boys take the guns away from those cowhands first?
No, you just stay where I told you. I'll be out there directly.
Okay.
Why do you get just too drunk and fall over?
He's had his chance.
Yeah, I guess so.
Kill him.
Afraid I'm gonna have to.
Tie him off.
Come on out of your hole, Herb. I ain't waiting all day.
Mr. Allison, I don't want you to depend on my habit of only wounding a man.
You ain't scaring me. Well, go ahead, draw. Draw!
It's your move.
What's the matter, Albright? What are you scared of? You offered me $1,000 to gun him. You promised plenty of men to back me up. Well, there's Earp and there's his deputies. You want me to take them on all by myself?
All over.
Look out, he's coming.
You may have to drop. Watch Albright's men.
Abiding element in Dodge City was ashamed of their town's reputation as the Gomorrah of the western frontier. That's why they hired Wyatt Earp to be their marshal in 1876. But it takes time and money to civilize a tough town. The city fathers of Dodge were understandably alarmed when they heard that a reporter for the great and influential New York Herald would be stopping off to write a story about conditions. As for Marshal Earp, it would be a cruel test of his efficiency as a peace officer. Dozens of penny shockers had spread the bad name of Dodge City throughout the land. But if a correspondent of the New York Herald could be impressed by one quiet day,
So this is the rip-roaring Dodge City, eh? Where's the dead man they serve up for breakfast?
Mr. Jensen, welcome to Dodge. I'm George Hoover, the mayor.
Oh, how do you do?
And these gentlemen are council members Kelly.
Sir.
Moffett.
How do you do?
Gale.
Hello.
And our marshal, Mr. Earp.
Howdy.
Well, the famous Mr. Earp. When's the shooting start, Marshal?
Well, I kind of asked all the boys to hold off on that until after you got here. I think the first thing on the program is breakfast.
Well, yes, at my house. The rig's just across the street.
Thank you very much, sir. Oh, isn't Mr. Earp coming with us?
Well, of course.
Oh, thanks, but I got to feed my prisoners. I'll see you later.
By all means. I'll expect an interview.
Marshal Earp! Fight! Mom says you better come in a hurry.
Toby, just not so loud.
But Mom says you gotta stop him from fighting or she will.
All right. Now, who's fighting?
The dogs. Bosco, that belongs to Mr. Willett, and Avery, that belongs to Mr. Sam Donovan. Mom says it's against the law, and if you don't stop him, she'll do it with a shotgun.
Where's the fight?
Behind the Long Branch Saloon, right next to our backyard.
I'll be with you in a second.
Hurry, sir. Don't wait to put on your coat. Mom will get to shooting.
Yes, shut up! Didn't you men hear what I said?
Oh, no, it's her again.
I said Toby for the marshal. But if he don't come and stop it, I'll stop it.
Keep your temper, Sarah. Dogfighting's a sport like boxing or anything.
No, it ain't. When men fight, that's their business. But sicking two poor dogs on each other, that's dirty, mean, and cruel.
Pay no attention, Sam.
Are all the bets in? All the bets down?
Everybody get
down.
All right, form a circle, man. Form a circle.
Come on.
Spread out. Spread out.
I want Jack to get the first barrel, and Sam the other one.
Don't you bomb my friend Marshal Earp.
Sorry, gentlemen, no dog fights.
Yeah, why not?
Because you're disturbing Mrs. Cullen, and I don't like dog fights.
No? You just like to fight with guns, huh?
Well, I tell you, Mr. Willett, I don't mind a good fist fight. Why don't you and Mr. Donovan fight? I'll referee.
It's a good idea.
But if you want your dogs to do the fighting for you, then you better go outside the city limits where I can't stop you.
We'll have it some other time. When Nosy Sarah ain't around. And how about her threatening us with that gun, Deacon Earp?
Well, I'll tell you, Mr. Donovan, you can file a complaint, but then I'd have to charge you with cruelty to your dog.
Me? Cruel to him?
You've been starving Avery to keep him in bad temper. You just move along, Mr. Donovan. I haven't finished my breakfast yet, and I'm kind of bad tempered myself. You better put away that gun, Mrs. Cullen.
Sure, Mr. Earp. And I thank you kindly.
Just about time for Toby to get ready for Sunday school, isn't it?
Aw, Mom, do I gotta?
Yes. Come on.
Mr. Earp needs me. Something else might happen. And I'm a special deputy on Saturdays and Sundays. Ain't I, Mr. Earp?
Oh, you've been a mighty big help, Mr. Toby.
No, he hasn't. He goes galloping after you, yelling bloody murder.
But, Mom!
There's a newspaper man from New York in town. Now, what'll he think of us? No chasing after Mr. Earp today, and not a yell out of you.
Yes, sir. So long, Mr. Earp.
I'll put you back on the force next weekend, Toby.
Yes, sir.
Well, thanks, pal.
Sure. Nice, quiet Sunday, Wyatt. You can use one.
The whole town can use one, especially today.
Oh, you're talking about that newspaper fellow over at Mayor Hoover's, huh?
Mm-hmm. Hal, the eyes of the New York Herald are upon us.
Who cares what they think?
Well, I'll let you in on a little secret. See, the city's trying to borrow some money, and an awful lot depends on how much...
Uh-oh.
Gosh, Mr. Earp, didn't you hear the fire bell? It's old man Cayley's shed. I saw the smoke just as I started
Toby.
for Sunday school, and the flames... Yes, sir?
The fire department will take care of Mr. Cayley's shed.
Toby, why don't you stop dogging Mr. Earp? He started one breakfast, then all of
All right. Shed'll burn clean down before they get those firemen collected. Poor old man.
What?
Mr. Cayley's in the shed. Dead drunk. Oh, excuse me for mentioning it. I know the shortest cut, Mr. Earp.
You try and eat the breakfast.
Stay here.
Don't try it, Mr. Earp. You'll get burned up.
Come on, Wyatt.
Let's go. Marshal Earp went in after him.
Oh, darn fool stuff. Start dipping your buckets in full water, boys. Mighty hot in there. Guess I'll make a try at getting Earp out. Drunk, dead to the world. Let her burn, boys. Save the water in case the house starts to hot up.
All right, then, we won't use it.
Mighty spunky work, Marshal. But you ought to arrest him. Third fire he started this year.
It's grand larceny, Mr. Earp.
It's just too much to drink. Now, you keep him here. Make him watch it burn.
I'll let his house burn, too. Have a stronger effect.
Now, don't you worry, Mr. Cayley. They won't let your house burn. You still got plenty of time to make Sunday school.
What are you sorting me for? I didn't yell fire on the street.
I'm not sorry. You did a good deed.
Then I don't have to go. I can coast maybe until next Sunday.
Master Toby, you are in no state of grace to allow any coasting.
But I helped you save Mr. Cayley and the shed.
Now, do you want me to cancel your appointment as special deputy?
No, sir. I'll go.
Excuse me, Mr. Jensen. I'm sorry to keep you waiting.
Not at all, Marshal. Trouble in town?
Nothing like that, just a quiet, normal day. Excuse me, I'm gonna get myself a little slicked up for church.
Now, Marshal, aren't you pulling my leg?
In what way, Mr. Jensen?
All this talk about how quiet and peaceful Dodge City is. I've had quite a bit of it from your mayor and councilman. Is this town really civilized?
No, sir, not yet.
How long have you been marshal here, Mr. Earp?
Oh, about 3 months now.
How many men have you had to kill in the line of duty?
Well, none so far.
Really? But there have been killings here. Pitched gun battles, that sort of thing?
Oh, yeah. Been a few killings and gunfights.
But this is just a normal, quiet day. Not a shot fired since...
Excuse me, Mr. Jensen. I'll be back in a minute.
Go on. Hal, I come up.
Come on, back here.
Come on. Drunken discharging weapons in the street.
Those men were just showing off, Mr. Jensen.
Well, nobody got hurt.
Oh. I wish you'd put that in your paper. You know, 90% of all the wildness in Dodge is just bragging and bluster like that. You see, it's...
Indians, Mr. Earp. A big bunch of dull-nice men on the warpath. It'll be a massacre. Reverend Halcott sent everybody home from Sunday school, and...
Hold it. Now, there's no truth in this, is there, Toby?
Yes, sir, there sure is. They're right outside the town, and they sent a message to Mayor Hoover.
You sure?
There he is now, and Mr. Kelly. That'll prove it.
Now, son, it's all right. I can't understand this, Wyatt. A buffalo hunter brought it in. He says there's a war party of Cheyennes this side of the river.
Folks are getting a little excited, Wyatt.
Excited? They're scared. Mom's loading the shotgun with slugs.
Yeah, they want to send a powwow man into town. Guess I better ride out there.
Alone? Oh, heaven save us all.
Mr. Jensen, I kind of like to have you go along with me out there.
Well, that's foolhardy, Wyatt. Why don't we let the powwow man come in and say what he has to say?
Because he wouldn't get 50 yards down Front Street. I don't think there's too much risk in it, Mr. Jensen. Anyway, I'd kind of like to have you see how wild rumors run in our town.
Very well. Glad to accompany you, Marshal.
Wyatt, you want to get him killed by Indians?
If he's even scratched, the New York
Mr.
Herald...
Mayor, I take it for granted that Mr. Jensen is here to write the truth about us. Isn't that right, Mr. Jensen?
That's right, Mr. Earp.
Can we borrow your buggy? Oh, and keep young Toby here.
Dull Knife and his people are on the warpath, you know.
Well, we're friendly. I help Mr. Cousin, Mr. Brother. They're blood kin to Dull Knife. Promise safe conduct to me and anybody with me.
The Cheyennes out there know that?
I sure hope so.
Are your friends here?
No. What's the trouble?
No trouble. Much. My brother got arrow in leg. He went white man's doctor.
Put him on a horse.
You shoot him, huh?
No.
What is your name?
Earp. Wyatt Earp.
Mr. Cousin of Yellow Hand say you are good man. Is there also good white doctor?
Doc McCarty. Very good doctor.
I will put my brother on horse.
I'm most grateful, Mr. Earp. This is the best story I've collected on my travels.
Quiet, no violence.
Mm-hmm.
Well, afraid I missed church. I'd like to have you be my guest for dinner.
Thank you, but I doubt if I'll have much of an appetite. Indians scare me. We've given them so many good reasons to shoot.
You better come quick. It's Frog-Face Perkins and Mr. Kelly. Frog-Face says he's going to shoot Mr. Kelly. And Mr. Kelly, he's got a gun.
All right, all right. Why don't you break it up?
Perkins ain't armed. I figure it's a lot of talk.
No, it ain't. There'll be a bloody gunfight, Mr. Earp.
Toby, I think your mother wants you. Al, take the Indian on over to Doc McCarty's. Mr. Jensen, I'll see you over at the Dodge House in about 10 minutes.
And I say you're a cheating a swindler, Kelly. You just hang on to that gun. I'm going to get my own gun.
Well, Mr. Perkins, now what's all this row between you and Mr. Kelly?
He knows. Maybe he'll tell you.
Let him go for his gun, Wyatt. I ain't running.
Now, wait a minute. Put that gun up, Mr. Kelly. Now, there's not going to be any gunfighting today. If I catch either one of you with a gun, there's going to be trouble. You understand?
All right. You're the law.
Councilman Kelly.
Well, I'm in the right of the quarrel.
Well, then fight it out some other day. Just when I got this newspaper man thinking we're half civilized, you go and bust loose.
Ah, I told George Hoover we could never hide what we are. Let them New York papers print what they like.
Mr. Kelly, $100,000 is a big loan in these days.
We won't get it.
Well, we might. If Jensen doesn't go and print us up as a rowdy bunch. Now, I'm going to ask you as a personal favor not to get in any trouble today. How about it?
Well, for what Perkins called me, I should blow his gizzard out. But I owe you the favor.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. Aaron go brah.
Porterhouse steak, 25 cents. Roast of buffalo hump, 30 cents. Prairie chicken fricassee, 20 cents. I'll have to show this menu to Delmonico's when I get back to New York.
Well, I recommend the quail on toast. It's very good.
But that's 50 cents. I don't want to put on airs.
You get 2 whole quail, more than you can eat with vegetables and all.
Well...
Yeah, it's just a horse race. I kind of wish the boys wouldn't use Front Street, though. Well, Sully, I'll start with some oysters and some quail on toast. And...
Horse alert! Horse alert!
I thought I told you that you were
It's
supposed
a crooked race, Mr. Earp. The Bardee rider fouled that lazy H pony.
Will you please go home?
Yes, sir. But don't blame me if the lazy H'ers go for their guns. And if they don't kill a few, the gamblers will. But don't blame me.
You go ahead and order. I'll be right back.
Our horse got fouled. You hit him across the face with your quirt just as he was going to pass you.
That's a dirty lie. We want fair and square. You lazy H's are just crybabying to get out of paying the bets.
We ain't paying no bets.
You don't welch on us. We'll get our guns and then we'll collect.
We got guns, too.
You bet we do.
Let's get this settled.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know who was fouled, and I don't care, but I'm calling all bets off.
All right. Then we'll run the race over.
Next Sunday.
What big-headed notion is this, Earp? You can't tell us
Yes,
what...
I'm telling you. Now, all bets are off, and the race is postponed 1 week. You understand? Now, break it up.
I'll bet you that.
Go on.
Where's Jensen?
Oh, he went with Mr. Kelly. Looked at Boot Hill just before dark.
Yeah, I reckon they went back to Kelly's place to have a drink. Yeah. Well, do you think we put it over?
Hope so. You want some milk?
No. Well, it has been a quiet day. No killings, no gunfights, and only 2 arrests.
Yeah, well, we all tried to sit on the lid.
Jensen couldn't write anything wild and woolly about us.
Well, not yet, no, but I'll sure be a lot happier when he's on that night stage for Kansas City.
Maybe you should have stayed with him, Wyatt.
He took quite a shine to Jim Kelly.
Wish I had more confidence in Jim.
Come on, you like Mr. Kelly? Anyway, he's what the newspaper men call a colorful personality.
Yes, that's right, but... Toby, are you still dogging Mr. Earp around?
No, sir.
Well, it must be good news. Whatever it's bad news, he comes in on the gallop.
I guess it's good.
What do you mean, Toby?
Well, I don't think Frog-Faced Perkins would actually kill Mr. Jensen. He might kill Mr. Kelly, but what's he got against Mr. Jensen?
Well, come on out with it. Did Frog-Face have his guns?
A gun, yes, sir.
Well, then what happened? I mean, where are they?
Boot Hill Cemetery.
Good heavens. Tell us, boy.
Nothing much to tell, I guess. Frog-Faced Perkins sneaked up and caught him at Boot Hill.
Well, then what did they do?
Well, he said he was going to shoot Mr. Kelly and then shoot Mr. Jensen because he'd be a witness. But I don't think he'd actually shoot Mr. Jensen.
Well, how long ago was this?
Just before dark.
Good heavens above. What happened after Perkins put a gun on them?
I don't know. I got scared and ran. It'd soon be dark in Boot Hill, and that's a scary place, and I wouldn't be scared with Mr. Earp along. Is it all right if I go too?
No, you go home. And if I ever catch you running after Mr. Earp again, I'll send you to reform school.
Reform school?
The reform school.
Your time is about up, Kelly. You gonna buy a footstone from my pal's grave?
Never. I spent all the money you give me for the headstone, and $12 more.
Why, that headstone ain't worth no $70. You're a no good cheat, Kelly. You're the lowest skunking cheat there is. Robbing the dead.
Mr. Perkins.
Yeah?
I see no need for this morbid talk. I don't defend Mr. Kelly. He's a stubborn Irishman.
You hear that, Kelly?
But that's no reason for committing cold-blooded murder. I'm reaching for money, not a gun.
I don't want your money. I want him to pay.
Not 1 red cent.
All right. I'll give you 10 seconds to say a prayer. Now start praying.
You start. Shoot him, Wyatt.
To break his arm.
Go ahead.
No, stop it. That wouldn't make nice reading in the Herald, Mr. Earp.
No, I guess it wouldn't, Mr. Jensen. Come on, Mr. Kelly. Give me a hand over to Doc McCarty's. Get the scalp stitched up.
You're hooligans, all of you.
Ruthless, brutal hooligans. Listen to that now. You keep Frog-Face from murdering the both of us, and he calls you names.
He'll change his mind when he's had a chance to think about it.
I'll take a look in your trunk rack if you don't mind.
Oh, it's you, Mr. Earp. You hold up stages in your spare time?
I thought so.
Oh, Mr. Earp.
Now, come on, get out of there. All right, Willie. Go on. Bye, Mr. Jensen. What did you think you were doing?
Mayor Hoover threatened to send me to reform school.
Well, that's just a joke, Toby. But what Mr. Jensen's going to write about us won't be any joke.
Why should he write bad things about us? Nobody did anything much. It was a nice, quiet day.
Sure. But when you get to be an old man and read about Dodge City in the history books, well, there just won't be any quiet days at all.
Why?
Well, because the quiet days, the ones where people didn't do any fighting or killing or steal each other blind, well, they just won't be counted in the history books.
But doesn't the good Lord count them, Mr. Earp?
Yes, Toby. He counts them.
Frame-up will work. Can't miss.
Why all the complications? Why don't we just hire somebody to shoot her?
It's been tried again and again. We even tried to have him licked in a fist fight by two of the best men we could find. He whipped both of them in less than a half an hour. Now we'll frame him. The mayor will take his star and his guns away. Then he ought to be easy killing.
Yeah. Earp in Dodge City without his guns. I'll pay for the funeral.
The job of marshal in a western cowtown of the 1870s had a brief life expectancy. Wyatt Earp had lived through the taming of Ellsworth and Wichita by the speed of his guns and the skill of his fists. But Dodge City was bigger and tougher. Hoodlums, drunken cowhands, and a few businessmen who wanted a wide-open town had determined to get rid of Marshal Earp by killing him. Thus far, alertness and luck had been with the marshal. They had been with Wild Bill Hickok, too, until an assassin's bullet crashed into his head. In the early autumn of 1876, Marshal Earp was closer to death than he had ever been before. What his enemies planned for him was no face-to-face showdown with a hired gunfighter. It was a plot far more subtle and deadly.
Ellie, you're driving me crazy.
Easy. Oh.
No, I'm
Temper.
me. I've never gone through anything like this in my life. Now, do you love me or don't you?
More than ever.
Well, you haven't sold the saloon.
Well, it takes a little time to find the right buyer.
Oh, quit stalling, Kelly. It took me 2 days to sell my dance, so now get out.
No, I'll sell it. I'll sell it.
When?
Well, just give me a couple more days to find...
No, today.
But, honey...
Don't try to sweet-talk me. When I agreed to marry you, we said we'd get out of the dance hall and the saloon business, didn't we?
Be reasonable, Dora. The only real good offer I've had's from Butch McGuire.
So?
Well, he's a newcomer to town. I don't know much about him. Can't sell the Alhambra to just anybody.
Goodbye, Kelly.
But what if McGuire's a
A
crook?
saloon is a saloon, and it's either the Alhambra or me, and you've chosen the Alhambra.
No. I'll sell it. Today.
Well, get going, then.
Ah, that's proof I'm crazy about you. Ah, Dora.
Now, don't try to sweet-talk me. We've had enough of this mushing around. We'll have time for it later on. Now, go sell the saloon.
I will. I will. Now, if you can reform, so can I.
Prove it.
Well, I'll be right back here with the money. I got just as strong a character as you got.
Bring back the money and the contract, Kelly.
I will. That I will.
Ah, Mr. Kelly. You look kind of discouraged. What's the matter?
I want no pity from you. I don't know what I came here for. All I ever get from you is good, sound, moral advice. If there's anything I hate, that's it.
Now, why don't you quit stalling and sell the Alhambra?
She told you. A personal, sacred matter, and she tells you.
Miss Dora's a good friend of mine.
And did she tell you I gotta sell my place to McGuire?
Well, he made you the best offer by $5,000, didn't he?
But I don't know very much about the man, Wyatt. I've always run a good, honest place. Barring the use of an occasional Mickey Finn to keep the customers in order and save you a bit of trouble arresting them.
McGuire's gonna have to run a decent place. If he tries any tricks, I'll close him. Anyway, this is all just an excuse.
Huh?
You want to welch on Miss Dora. The old Nick's too strong in you.
Indeed, now. I'll go over there and sign the papers this very minute.
All right, there's the door, and you know where the Alhambra is.
Are you trying to rush me?
No, but I do feel sorry for Miss Dora.
How's that?
Well, here she goes and sells her nice little dance hall and buys a home on the other side of town, and you just back out.
Well, selling a dance hall ain't the same as selling a place like the Alhambra.
It's the same principle.
No, it is not. Well, that saloon's been a home to me, Wyatt. I like the smell of it, and the noise, and the talk my customers bring in from the trails. You not being a drinking man, you got no heart for the Alhambra. It's been my very life these 5 years. They'll miss old Jim, the boys will. I feel like I'm deserting them.
Well, all right, then don't sell it.
And give up Dora?
Well, sure, why not?
That's the real Wyatt Earp talking. A whited sepulcher. Trying to break up the holy bonds of matrimony. Well, I'm selling that saloon and I'm marrying Dora. And the likes of you can't stop me.
Hello, McGuire. Hello. Unexpected you.
Good. Have the boy tie the horse up. Hey.
Come inside. I want to talk to you.
There ain't nothing to be that afraid of.
Well, Earp and I aren't exactly friendly. You can never tell who'll listen and carry tales. Is Kelly gonna sell?
Well, he's got to sell. If you owned a saloon and Dora Hand agreed to marry you if you sold, well, how long could you wait, Brother Albright?
Well, I'm a happily married man.
Sure. Jim ain't so happy about it, though. He feels so bad, they tell me he's drinking his own whiskey.
That's what I figured.
I don't think it hurt his brain.
Doesn't have to. Just well-oiled and anxious to get it over with. Here's the bill of sale and the transfer of the real estate.
Does it have to be this long? Kelly might get suspicious.
I know Jim. It'll be a wrench for him parting with the Alhambra. He won't even bother to read the inventory of the stock and furnishings. In matters of business, Jim is a little careless and impulsive. Now, here's the really important item hidden on the middle of page 3.
And to Wyatt Earp, who will have a 20% interest in the business. Hey, won't we need Earp's signature on this to make it legal?
I'll take care of that later.
Forgery, huh? Well, Earp will deny it.
We don't have handwriting experts out here, Mr. McGuire. I've got a clerk working for me that can make Earp's name pass on a bank check.
Yeah, but we're handing him 20% of a good business.
Temporarily. Just temporarily. I'm lending you half the price with no interest. But if you get cold feet...
Oh, no. I'll make the deal. You really must despise Earp.
He's cost me thousands. We don't need a church deacon running a closed town. A wide open town is good for business.
Well, I'll go along with that. It's a deal. All the way.
All the way.
Just one. Straight.
You made up your mind to do it?
Yeah. Come on. McGuire will keep you on, Soapy. You and all the boys.
Thanks. It won't be the same.
Oh, what's the difference? One saloon's the same as another.
No, sir. This was more than a saloon the way you run it, Mr. Kelly. The cowhands come busting through them doors like hungry kids into their mama's kitchen. When the next outfit drives to Dodge and someone yells, "Hey, where's Kelly?" I sure hate to tell him.
Ah, shut up. McGuire talks like a good, honest Irishman.
Yeah, but he ain't no Jim Kelly.
He'll sell 'em good stuff. He won't cold deck the cards. If he does, Earp will close him. And if he sees they had too much, he'll throw 'em out. Same as I always done.
You reckon he'll stake him to grub and tobacco money and pay their doctor bills if they're broke and sick and...
Shut up, I said. See who it is.
It's Mr. McGuire.
Let him in. I'll be in the back room.
You sure you don't want to change your mind?
No.
Let him in. Come in, Mr. McGuire.
Oh, hello, Soapy.
He's in the back room.
Thanks. 14,000, 14,500, 15,000. There, better count it yourself.
I counted it. Place is yours.
Now, Mr. Kelly, your signature in two places, the bill of sale and the real estate transfer.
I don't need all this stuff, neither do you. You paid the money, we shake hands.
Look, I had to borrow part of the money from the bank. As far as you and I go, we shake hands. But the bank wants your John Henry here and on the last page there.
All right. There, it's done. You keep all my boys hired.
Why, of course. That's part of the deal.
Well, place is yours. I'm going out the back door.
Good luck, Mr. Kelly.
Good luck to yourself.
Dora wants to know if you can come out to the new house right away.
What's the matter, Millie?
Mr. Jim Kelly. He's intoxicated.
All right, thanks.
Yeah. Charlie, that's wonderful work. Can you tell a difference?
Charlie's a genius. Here, I've got some private business with Mr. Albright. Now, let me get this straight. If Earp starts to give me a rousting at the Alhambra, I take these to Mayor Hoover. Hoover fires Earp. Earp gets sore and comes down to forget me at the Alhambra.
Then the boys start a free-for-all gunfight.
And Earp accidentally gets killed. Pretty slick. And I think it'll work.
You think it'll work? You know it'll work.
Oh, no, you don't. You've had enough. Now have some tomatoes. Thanks for coming so quick, Wyatt.
What do you have?
Too much. Jim's not a drinker, and he's got himself into a dirty sulk. He's mourning about that saloon.
You want me to take him on back to town, let him sleep it off?
No, I want you to try to help me sober him up so he can catch the 11 o'clock stage to Kansas City.
Kansas City?
Well, I've got to get him out of town. If he stays in town, he's going to sober up and try to buy that saloon back tomorrow. Come on, help me, please. Jim? Jim?
What'll I do with my time in Kansas City?
You can buy hardware for the new store, Kelly.
Now, White, you'll keep an eye on the old place now.
That's a promise, Mr. Kelly.
Now, I want you to stay at least a week in Kansas City, Kelly.
Bye, darling.
So long, Kelly.
Now, about the Alhambra.
Come on, they're waiting for you.
Watch your step. There we go. Bye, everybody. Bye. Bye.
Do you think he'll stick to it?
I sure hope so.
And Wyatt, do you think that...
Wyatt, there's trouble at the Alhambra.
Oh?
Soapy and one of the dealers. They threatened to kill McGuire.
Excuse me, Miss Doyle. Oh, do you want Hal to drive you home?
No, I'm all right, thanks.
Don't you worry about it.
And the deal was for you to keep us all on. It didn't call for me to cut drinks or for the dealer to cold deck poker and faro.
All right, quit.
It ain't that easy, McGuire.
We got a good reputation in this town.
The Alhambra's an honest joint.
Kelly never should have sold it to you.
I'm warning you.
Open up, it's Marshal Earp.
Thanks for getting here so quick. I want these men arrested.
What for?
Well, he pulled a gun on me, and they both threatened to give me a pistol whipping.
He ordered me to water the drinks, Mr. Earp.
Take a look at these cards, Marshal.
Yeah, they're shaved or printed phony. He ordered him to cold deck Mr. Kelly's customers.
They're shaved, all right. I'm closing you, Mr. McGuire.
That's what you think.
Why, you...
Take it easy. No sense in starting any trouble.
Yeah, but he's a real bad one, Marshal. Where's Mr. Kelly?
He went away on business. I'll handle this. Tell the customers you're closing for the night.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, there you are.
All right, Mr. McGuire. Now, what's so important that you have to get me out of bed?
Earp and I bought Kelly's place.
What? Marshal Earp bought... Oh, no fairy stories, please.
There's his signature right on the deal.
Where's Marshal Earp?
He'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Good.
He's due now.
It looks to me, Mr. Mayor, as though they pulled a fast one. They sell me the Alhambra. Then Earp frames me into a charge of crooked work. Kelly comes back and buys the place for a song. The place is closed. What can I do? I gotta sell.
I see. Yes, it could happen that way.
Yeah.
Oh, hello, Wyatt.
Well, Mr. Mayor?
I want to question Mr. Earp in private.
He'll deny everything, but there's the proof in black and white. I'll wait outside.
He says you own 20% of the Alhambra. Looks like your signature in two places.
That's a good forgery.
Who did it?
Well, the only one in town that could have done it this well is Mr. Albright's clerk. He served time forging checks in Oklahoma.
All right, eh? Well, that makes everything clear. I'll get that scoundrel if...
Oh, wait a minute, sir. Let's try and figure out what he wants you to do with me. Now, if you fired me, I could still keep my guns, but if you just suspended me, you'd take my badge and my guns until after an investigation. Now, let's go along with their game and suspend me.
But, Wyatt, how can you be...
Albright doesn't want me fired. Wants to set me up for a killing.
Without your star and guns. And you expect me to...
I want to catch Albright. Now, you call Mr. McGuire in here, suspend me, and tell him that you're going to have a full investigation.
After you're dead? Now, Wyatt.
I know it's risky. It's the only way to get the goods on Albright. He hired Clay Allison to gun me. All I did is punch his face. And this time I really want to discourage him. We got to go along with this plan. If we don't, Albright's going to keep trying until he does get me.
But without your guns, you'll be a sitting duck.
Mr. Mayor, I've never been a sitting duck. Now, please do me this favor.
Favor? Well, all right. Mr. McGuire.
Oh.
Mr. Earp denies everything. He says the signature was forged.
You believe that?
I don't know what to believe. But pending a full investigation, I have no choice but to suspend Mr. Earp. Take off your star and guns.
You're the mayor. But I'm not going to need my guns. I'm going to beat your brains out with my fists. Now, you keep your saloon closed and get out of town.
You heard him threaten me. The Alhambra stays open. And don't come down there looking for me. You might get into trouble. You better keep him here till he cools off.
Yes. Mr. Earp, you're under temporary arrest for your own good.
You keep the Alhambra closed.
You're not the marshal now. My place will be running high, wide, and handsome the rest of the evening. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Well, here we go, fellas. She's open, boys, wide open. Earp's been suspended, so he ain't marshal no more. You can all wear your guns, and tonight, the fun's all on Butch McGuire. Come on in.
Well, now you know the whole story. Try and talk some sense into his head. I can't.
Why take chances, Wyatt?
Yeah, Mayor Hoover will fix things in the morning.
We'll go in there with guns and clean the whole place out.
No, I'll do it my way.
But you won't get a chance to use your fist on McGuire. Him and his gang will stage a fake free-for-all.
Yeah, they'll cut you down and say it was accidental.
Whose life is it?
Go along with him, boys. I appoint you his bodyguards until he's reinstated as marshal.
No, you stay out of it. Now, you promised me I could handle this. You gonna back out on that?
No.
Thank you, sir.
Wyatt.
Oh, you heard about it, huh?
Yes, and you're not going near that place. Jim would never forgive me if I let anything happen to you.
You want Mr. Kelly to stay in the saloon business?
No, Wyatt, but you...
Now, listen to me, Miss Dora. I try to let the other fellow make the mistakes. I guess that's why I've gone on living.
Yes, but you can't go after McGuire empty-handed. Isn't that foolish?
Look, Pete Albright tricked Kelly into selling to a hoodlum. If I can just get the goods on Albright, the court will seize the business. The court won't sell it back to Mr. Kelly, I promise you that. I got quite a stake in both of you, you know.
Yes, but not at the cost of your own life.
Well, I'm not quite that sentimental. Anyway, there's kind of a catch in this whole thing that Mr. Albright and McGuire don't know about. I guess Mayor Hoover, my deputy, should have known, but it kind of slipped their memory. Now, you just go on home and write a nice long letter to Mr. Kelly.
Earp's coming. No guns, no star.
Good. Business as usual, fellas. Everybody pretend we don't know.
Who starts it?
I do.
Yeah, well, then I better get...
Get hold of yourself. Earp ain't got arms 10 yards long.
Yeah, I know, but...
You stay here.
Sit down. All right, Mr. McGuire, take off your guns and step outside.
Why, sure.
Start shooting, all of you.
Now, Mr. Albright, you start. Or I will. I got 2 loads left. Who's next?
Deputies, arrest Earp. He's not the marshal. He's got no right to carry a gun.
Mr. Albright, you framed me. I want you to admit that.
Oh.
You got 1 good hand left. I'll wait until you draw.
No. No, don't.
Mr. Albright and Mr. McGuire didn't know I was a deputy federal marshal. They're under arrest for forging my name. It's a federal offense.
What about the rest of them, Wyatt?
Take them all to jail. I want this place cleaned up. Clem, pick up the guns.
Come on.
Gun belts on.
Go on.
Move.
Come on, you can walk the double cronies.
Give me a hand.
Take him to the dock.
Are you all right, Wyatt?
Just like old times.
Mr. Kelly, what are you doing back?
I've always been here.
He says he came back to get some souvenirs. Now, what would he be doing with a bunch of souvenirs from a saloon?
Nothing, and he knows it. It doesn't belong to you, Mr. Kelly. Now, the court's going to be seizing this whole place.
That's all right, Kelly. You've still got Dora.
That's right, Dora.
Put this mask on. You're riding with us. I said put it on. You've tipped off Wyatt Earp. You'll get your share of bullets. If nothing goes wrong in the holdup, then you'll be just like us, an outlaw.
Why don't you let Herb catch him red-handed, Dave?
Hey, it's an idea. The great Wyatt Earp catches his best friend, Bat Masterson, in a Santa Fe payroll robbery. All right, let's ride.
The friendship between Wyatt Earp and young Bat Masterson was a rough and ready alliance of startlingly dissimilar characters. It began with Bat's hero worship of the older and wiser Marshal Earp. It grew as Bat determined to follow Wyatt in the dangerous career of a Western peace officer. Wyatt had advised his young friend to go to school and choose some other business. Bat made a try at this while Wyatt was Marshal of Wichita. But when Wyatt moved on to Dodge City and gained fame as the first marshal who could hold his own with hoodlums of that rip-roaring cowhand capital, Bat Masterson was drawn to Dodge as by an irresistible lure. Whatever befell, he would prove to Marshal Earp that he had the makings of a great deputy.
Oh, so this is Dodge City, hmm?
Toughest camp of them all, ma'am. But I'll keep an eye on you.
That's nice to know, Mr. Masterson.
I'll get the bag.
Oh, don't rush off, Miss Stanley. Your little brother can tote the luggage to the hotel.
Mr. Lukens, I thought I told you I didn't want to be bothered.
Oh, now, is that friendly? No, I can show you a good time. Oh, here, boy. Take that luggage over to the hotel, will you, for the young lady?
Hey, you're right handy with your fists. How are you with a gun?
Pretty fair.
Well, the next time I see you, wear it.
Come on, let's go to the hotel.
You do the same.
Come on, let's go. You told me you wanted a job with Marshal Earp. Is this going to help any?
Lukens asked for a gunfight.
I think you ought to talk to Mr. Earp first.
Wyatt. Your old friend Bat Masterson is in town. He just had a fist fight with a fellow by the name of Lucan outside the stage depot. They're going to shoot it out the next time they meet.
Were they fighting over a girl?
She's a real fairy belle, according to the stage driver.
Yeah, well, that's bad, all right.
I have a very nice room for you, southwest corner. Register, please.
All right.
Hello, Mr. Masterson.
Hey, Wyatt! Why, I meant to write you.
You never learned how to write. I say you got a little smear on your upper lip.
Oh, that's a mustache. Mexican style.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm so glad to see you. I plumb forgot. Miss Nellie, I want you to meet Wyatt Earp.
How do you do?
I'd almost decided to run to the jail for you.
How's that?
Mr. Masterson here wants to gun a man.
Not unless he comes after me.
I'm afraid the gunfight's gonna have to wait.
Why?
Because you're under arrest, that's why.
Another joke?
I'd have a fine time with my enemies if I let my friends break the law.
Well, thank goodness. Look, there's a lot of things about this that I haven't told you yet. But I will later. Why don't you keep him with you a few hours? By that time, somebody else will probably shoot Lukens. It's been a real pleasure, Mr. Earp.
Do I have to put the handcuffs on you?
No, I'll go home peaceable. Climb, stomach. And the first thing I do is get into a fight. Sure isn't a very good time to be asking you for a deputy's job.
So who's the girl?
Well, she got aboard at Abilene. We struck up a conversation, that's all. Look, I'm not the fool I used to be about women. I'm practically cured.
Oh, well, that's good. Are you still really serious about wanting that deputy job?
Yes, sir, I sure do.
All right. You do me a favor. Keep this in the gun rack.
Yeah, but what if Lukens comes after me?
Come on, act your age. You could shoot his ears off. You know that.
Well, yes, sir.
Now, when I go to see Mayor Hoover to get his approval on your deputy job, I'd look pretty silly trying to explain how you killed the man over a girl, wouldn't it?
I see that. How about the arrest?
That's first offense.
Thanks, Wyatt.
I'll let you buy me a dinner down at your hotel tonight.
I owe you a lot more than a dinner. Well, this is my lucky day, Mr. Dealer.
Fine, good luck. Your name, Masterson? Mr. Lukens was here, said he'd be back. Want you to wait.
I'm not frightened. Let's have a nice, quiet game of cards.
Fine with me.
You paralyzed all of a sudden?
Where's your gun?
It's in the rack.
Well, go get it. Or maybe you're too scared.
No. I just don't want any trouble.
Big talk. No fight?
All right. I'll meet you outside.
Look out!
You want any more?
Hold it.
I'm sorry, Wyatt. I tried to keep up, but he crowded me.
That's right, Mr. Earp.
It's not hurt bad. Couple of you men walk him on over to Doc McCarty's.
You're sore at me.
I was on my way to see the mayor.
And now the deputy job's all off, huh? Well, come on, give it to me straight. Look, I'm not gonna beg you.
Mr. Masterson, the deputy can't afford to get mixed up with women and gambling. Now, if you hadn't gone over to Beeson's place to play Pharaoh, you might have kept out of Lucan's way.
And let everybody think I was afraid of him?
It isn't what everybody thinks. And you claim you want to work for me, so it's what I think.
Oh, and you're still my school teacher, huh? Well, I don't need any lectures about how I gamble or what women I run with. Forget the job.
Wait a minute. You shot Lukens in self-defense. But I think you acted like a trigger-happy brat.
My friend.
Who is it?
Hey, Pollock, open up.
It's kind of risky, isn't it?
I'd rather take a chance of moving during the daylight than being bushwhacked by some reward hunter at night. Getting a drink?
It's on the bureau.
So that's the way it is now, huh? Little Nell ain't fetching drinks for her Davy boy anymore. Well, since it's going to be strictly business, we're hitting the Santa Fe payroll.
Yeah?
They bring $30,000 into this town every Saturday. But on what train, I don't know. Or how it gets out to the construction camp. That's your part of the job.
For how much?
The usual.
Oh, no. That won't be enough.
Won't it?
No. I'm not casing any more jobs for two-bit money while you throw away hundreds on her.
And which her is that?
On Blanche.
You listen to me. You give me any more trouble and you get a lot worse. Now, you be out the camp tomorrow night with the information I want.
Come in.
Hope I didn't keep you waiting too long.
If you'd gotten here any sooner, you'd have to use wings. I don't see any wings or any halo.
I've been around. Your message said you needed help. What's the trouble?
How do you stand with your friend, Mr. Earp?
Not good.
It won't last. You and I are going to have to cut him in on this pretty soon.
In on what?
I know how you can get your deputy job and a big chunk of money besides. Come on, it's safer to talk outside.
Wyatt? Mr. Kenton, Mr. Earp.
How do you do, sir?
Mr. Kenton is a detective with the Santa Fe.
Oh, how are you?
Mike worried. You got a reward sheet on Dave Pollock, his gang, the train robbers?
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Kenton thinks he saw Pollock in our town.
Yes, he visited Nellie Wright at the Dodge Hotel.
Miss Nellie, huh?
She used to be his girl. Maybe she still is.
Oh, sit down, Mr. Kenton.
And that's where you and Marshal Earp come in. I tell you the robbery's set up, and you tell him. And I want 2/3 of the reward money.
I wasn't thinking about that.
Well, think about it, or there's no deal.
Turning in a hoodlum like Dave Pollock, you could get hurt.
So could you. That's another thing. I want Mr. Earp to promise to make a clean sweep of Dave and all his men. I'd kind of like to go on living.
Maybe it's too big a risk. White might not believe me. Anyway, how do I know you're going to stay hitched? You think you hate Pollock now? Just a cowhead. Don't get scared.
You're the one who's scared. All right. I'll tell Mr. Earp.
You go near Wyatt and Pollock will hear about it.
Dave's in a hurry. He's going to want to hit that payroll this Saturday. I'll meet you at the Long Branch tomorrow at 3. Slip you a note. That's the deal?
Yeah. Then I'll tip off Wyatt.
Okay.
Well, I'll have one of my deputies watch the girl, Mr. Kenton. If I were you, I wouldn't change any of my payroll delivery.
Well, do you think we can take Pollock if he rides in?
The main thing is not to scare him off.
One other point. What about young Masterson?
Well, Mr. Masterson is as honest as you are.
Thank you very much, Mr. Earp.
I thought you invited me to have dinner with you.
Why would I do that? We're not friendly.
Are you really that sore?
Yes, I am. Now get away from me, will you?
Well, let's have some fun, Ellie. Let's go dancing or something.
No, I've got to go in.
Oh, no, it ain't even 7 o'clock yet, Nellie. We're not even started
A lot
yet.
more than started.
You know, you're pretty cute, Nellie.
Stop it. You've had too much, Mr. Sprague. Now trot along home.
No, Nellie, I'd rather be with you.
Mr. Sprague, will you go home?
Nellie! So you're gonna be like that? Shoot me. Yeah, I'm gonna look for a little trouble. That's what I have, some trouble. What's going to happen to me?
Nothing. Come on, Mr. Sprague, drink your coffee.
I'll lose my job at the railroad.
No, you won't. Not if you tell me what you told that girl.
Well, I thought it was a joke how careless they handle the payroll.
Careless, huh?
They sure are. They put it in a gunny sack and just throw it on a wagon that hauls the grub to camp. Ain't that funny? Thousands of dollars rolling around on a camp wagon. That was the joke I told the girl.
All right. Now, you have nothing more to do with Miss Nellie, you understand?
Oh, never.
Al, do you want to take Mr. Sprague home?
Yeah, let's go home.
Yeah. What about Masterson? Shouldn't we pick him up?
I'll take care of that when the time comes.
All right.
Yeah, let's go home, huh?
Yep, we go home.
That'll take too long to go home.
Won't you join us? Stay a while?
No, thanks. It's all there.
Gunny sack. In a camp wagon. You been followed?
Maybe.
Just one more question.
What?
One of my boys saw you talking to a young fella, Pat Masterson.
What about it?
He's a good friend of Wyatt Earp's.
They hate each other. If you don't believe me, have you boys ask around the saloons.
Maybe I will.
Go ahead, I don't care. Call the whole thing off.
No, it goes tomorrow morning, you hear me?
Oh, shut up. I'll be there. Come on.
Danny? We're not going to take a chance on Masterson. We'll take care of him tonight.
Good, Dave.
You want in on this, Bat?
No, guess I better quit. I gotta see a friend of mine. Say, have you seen anything of Miss Nellie Wright?
Left before noon. Hasn't come back yet.
I'll drop around later.
She meet the Pollock outfit? Railroad detective's been waiting for you.
Mr. Masterson still in town?
Yeah, gambling at the Long Branch.
You missed her. She came in and then checked out in a big hurry.
Did she say where she was going?
Left you a note. But she didn't say where she was going.
You got a pencil?
Yes. Here you are, young man. Right here.
Send this out to Marshal up at the jail, will you? Give the boy this. If Miss Nellie hired a rig, where's she most likely to get it?
Livery stable's right across the alley. You'll go out here and turn to your right.
Thanks.
And that...
And what right have you to assume that Masterson isn't in cahoots with Pollock? Isn't it logical he might
No,
have...
sir.
Well, why isn't it
Because
logical?
I trust him.
You trust him?
Now, look, I'm not going to arrest Mr. Masterson. I'm not going to ask him any questions. I wouldn't want him to doubt my honesty, and I don't doubt his.
Well, then where are we? How can we set a trap for Pollock if we don't know where he's going to jump the payroll wagon?
I sent for him.
Really, Earp, of all the stubborn, misguided loyalty to a wild young yahoo, I'm...
Excuse me. It's from Mr. Masterson. Says he'll see me later. Now, this looks like a case plan for the holdup. What do you think, Mr. Kenton?
Little David's garden. Well, where's that?
It's about 5 miles out of town. It's a stretch of boulders and brush.
Well, we'll be there. Now, shouldn't we talk about the...
I'm going to try and find Mr. Masterson. Shall I tell him you apologize?
What?
He's just a punk. Sure you didn't make a mistake?
I made a mistake, all right.
Oh, how's that?
Wyatt Earp and I fell out. What am I supposed to know?
You know Nellie. You're in and out of the hotel asking for her.
Well, if it's Miss Nellie Wright you're talking about, I met her on the stage from Abilene.
Well, tie him up. We'll take no chances.
Certainly, Mr. Pollock. Certainly, but you got me all wrong.
Get him out of here and tie him up.
He's so innocent. How did he know my name? Look, Danny, we're going to put a mask on him, make him ride with us in the morning. If he hasn't tipped off Earp, he'll be just another outlaw like us. But if we ride into trouble, so will he.
Mr. Gruber?
Yeah? Oh, howdy, Marshal.
Clerk over at the hotel said Mr. Masterson came over here to ask you about a young lady renting a rig.
Oh, young fella, well-dressed. He a friend of yours?
That's right.
Well, I thought he was just a drunk.
I saw two men loading him into the back end of a wagon.
Why didn't you report that?
Oh, Marshal, you know they're always collecting drunks for these cattle outfits.
What about the girl, Nellie Wright?
Oh, her. Well, she paid me for 2 days and moved to that old boarding house down by the Santa Fe.
Thank you. All right, I'll ask you just one question. What do you think Pollock's going to do to Bat?
Well, if Bat hasn't owned up to anything, Dave might treat him like he did Fish Daniels.
How's that?
We weren't too sure of Daniels on the Hannibal and St. Joe deal. So Dave put a mask on him, took him along.
I see.
Are you going out there and jump Dave tonight?
Guess I'll have to.
That's stupid. First thing they do is put a bullet in the guy. Then they'd scatter in the dark. Why don't you let them come after the payroll?
So you could get the reward?
Why not? I'm risking my life. Let Masterson take a risk, too.
There are 2 deputies watching the house. You stay here. Or are you going to sleep in the jail? Now, I don't want a man to fire until I've taken my shot with the bunt line. That goes for you, Mr. Kenton, your Santa Fe men. Now, if Pollock brings Mr. Masterson along, I'm going to try to crease Mr. Masterson just enough to knock him off his horse.
Any man of mine fires, I'll crease them.
Fine. Let's get out there.
Time to put your mask on, Sonny.
There's a guard on that wagon, and he shoots me, I'm dead. If you get away with the money, I'm an outlaw.
That's tough. Put it on. All right.
Wagon's coming.
What? It's me! Get down, Bat! Let those son! Get them off the horses!
It was a stupid stunt. I was aiming to crease you.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I didn't want a bullet in my head.
All right, all right.
It's not all right. Why didn't you come out and take me from Pollock's last night? But oh no, you're a cold-blooded John Law. You lay up there with your bunt line special trying to put a crooked part in my hair.
Will you relax? It's all over, and you and Nellie will get a big reward. Dave Pollock. How bad'd you get him? He's finished.
Well, he cleaned up the country, the old Wild West country. He made law and order prevail. And none can deny it, the legend of Wyatt forever will live on the trail. Oh, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told.